Welcome to Lit with Ernest, where we dive into the lives and works of the writers who shaped our understanding of the human experience. Today, we're talking about Homer, the ancient Greek poet whose works have stood the test of time. You might know him as the author of the Iliad and the Odyssey, two epic poems that have been widely influential in literature. In fact, some scholars even question whether he existed at all. Homer is believed to have lived in the 8th or 7th century BC in ancient Greece. His birthplace is unknown, but it's thought to be somewhere in the eastern part of the Greek world, possibly on the island of Chios or in the city of Smyrna. We don't know much about his childhood or family, but it's likely that he came from a fairly wealthy and educated background. As for his education, Homer would have been trained in the traditional Greek arts of poetry, music, and rhetoric. He would have studied the works of earlier poets, such as Hesiod and the oral traditions of Greek mythology. It's also possible that he traveled extensively throughout the Greek world, gathering stories and inspiration from the people and places he encountered. The Iliad and the Odyssey are two of the most famous epic poems in human history, and they're still widely read and studied today. The poem explores themes of honor, duty, and the human cost of war. The Odyssey, on the other hand, follows the journey of Odysseus as he returns home after the war, facing countless challenges and adventures along the way. These poems are significant not just because of their beautiful language and compelling stories, but also because they provide a window into the culture and values of ancient Greece. They show us what life was like in those times, with its social hierarchies, mythological beliefs, and cultural traditions. And yet, despite being written over 2,500 years ago, these poems still speak to us today about universal human experiences like love, loss, and the struggle for identity. Homer's work built upon the existing literary frameworks of his time, drawing on oral traditions and earlier poetic forms. However, he also innovated and experimented with language, style, and narrative structure. His use of hexameter verse, for example, became a hallmark of epic poetry, and his characters' speeches and dialogues are still studied by scholars today for their insight into human psychology. But Homer's legacy isn't without its limitations and controversies. Some critics have argued that his portrayal of women is one-dimensional and lacking in agency. Others have pointed out that his poems reflect the social and cultural biases of ancient Greece, including its acceptance of slavery and warfare as normal aspects of life. We need to acknowledge these criticisms and consider them within the historical context in which Homer was writing. Despite these limitations, Homer's work has had a profound impact on literature and related fields. His influence can be seen in everything from classical Greek tragedy to modern novels and films. In terms of practical impact and modern relevance, Homer's work remains essential reading for anyone interested in human behavior, thinking, or emotions. His characters are complex and multidimensional, with all the flaws and contradictions that make us human. They struggle with the same questions and dilemmas that we face today. How to balance individual desire with social responsibility, how to navigate the complexities of relationships and community, and how to find meaning and purpose in a chaotic world. For example, the Odyssey's exploration of identity and belonging is still relevant today, as people around the world struggle to define themselves and find their place in an increasingly globalized and interconnected world. Similarly, the Iliad's portrayal of war and its human cost remains a powerful warning about the devastating consequences of conflict and violence. In conclusion, Homer's legacy is a testament to the power of literature to transcend time and culture. His works may be ancient, but they still speak to us today about our hopes, our fears, and our struggles. That's all for today's Lit with Ernest. Like this episode if it hit true, share it if you respect honest talk about books. Subscribe, because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.